what do you think, sweetie? We're headed out of Pacific Northwest.
Yep, we're headed up the mountain.
Headed up the mountain. Try to make it to Lake Tahoe today.
We'll give it a shot.
And we're finding fuel at like $4.30, 40, 50 cents.
Yes.
So that'll make it nice.
That'll be something different.
You think you can put in a 500-mile day?
Well, we'll give it a shot.
Give it a shot. All right. Some of you might say that that's a pretty aggressive itinerary and wonder why in the heck we'd want to go all the way from Florence, Oregon down to South Lake Tahoe in one day. Really, I don't know. We've made this trip 4 or 5 times. Usually we take 3 days, but things have just been going perfect. All summer long we've been in temperatures in the mid 60s to the mid 70s. I think probably 75 or 77 is about as high as it's been. Usually we're wearing long sleeve shirts, except for the peak hours in the afternoon, and we've just been having a great time. And so I kind of forgot about the mountains and all the issues that brings up. But we got to having so much fun with Dave putting in his lithium ion batteries. That project was a lot of fun. We had several people there at South Jetty that we wanted to go on some hikes with, and there at Whalers Rest, playing on the ocean. It was just too much going on. Well, let me show you a little bit of what's going on and give you some of the mindset of why we thought we could make that drive in one day. And the mountains really didn't even come into play. And as a lot of you know, we recently purchased Starlink for our internet, and you've got to have a clear view of that northern sky. Well, at Whalers Rest, we had a perfect site, probably one of the best sites there for Starlink. Good shot at the sky. Well, we had driven down to South Jetty to visit with some of our friends, and one of them, Daryl and Priscilla, they've got Starlink as well. And they were at South Jetty, we were at Whalers Rest, and we were leaving at the same time, going to the other person's park. He had a good site for Starlink, and so did we. So we waited until he showed up around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And once they showed up to Whalers Rest, we pulled out, they took our spot, and it's only an hour drive back to South Jetty. And we have some more friends there that was right next door to where Daryl and Priscilla were. Well, they kind of hung around, had a little picnic in their old spot till we got there. And then we got to pull right in at South Jetty and take their spot. Had another great shot at the northern sky. So that worked out really good. So let me guess, right about now you're scratching your head saying, where's he going with this video? I thought you already left South Jetty, headed to Lake Tahoe. Well, that's true. We did, and that's where we're at. We're up at Lake Tahoe. But I wanted to kind of give a little bit of explanation why I made such lousy travel plans, a lousy itinerary. We have had such a great time. All summer long it's been perfect. We've got to hook up, we've got 2 sons up there, we got to hook up with them. We got grandkids up there, we got to see everybody. All the family stuff is gone perfect. Friends, we met friends, got to hook up with friends at a number of different RV parks, and met some subscribers. So everything's just going perfect. We got to put the batteries in Dave's coach, and that was several days, 3 or 4 days of really enjoyable time on doing that project and just getting to visit. Ted and Nancy left the next day, so we didn't get to visit with them a whole lot, but Charles and Abby we got to hook up with. The weather was perfect, mid 70s, 74, 75 degrees, and we just kind of forgot about the rest of the world. We were supposed to have left on the 7th, but I started thinking, well, we can make this drive in one day real easy. We leave at 7 or 8 o'clock, we'll be there by 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, evening. Perfect. And fuel prices was going down. That was just right. We thought we could get some real good prices. So you're probably starting to see the picture, huh? I kind of set us up for the perfect storm. As you can see, we start out down here at sea level, and we travel all the way up and straight up, almost all the way. At one point we get over 7,000 feet. I think the campground's at 6,500 or something. But it's just a long, grueling uphill battle from Florence, Oregon, where South Jetty is at, up to Tahoe Valley, it's South Lake Tahoe. And then over here, you can see the different grades, up and down, kind of correlates. It's just up and down, but mostly up and down. A lot more up than down. I'm not thinking of none of this. And so I said, the heck with 3 days, sweetie. We don't need 3 traveling days. We don't need 2 traveling days. If you're good for it, let's just make it all in one run. And we can stay here and hang out with Dave and see how his batteries do. We had a hike planned with Charles and Abby up to Sweet Creek waterfalls, about 20 miles east of South Jetty. And it is beautiful. I'll show you a video of that here in just a second. But the problem is, our reservations, I think, was on the 9th. But anyway, we left that morning. We had to be there that night or our reservations would be canceled. We had a 21-day reservation up at Lake Tahoe. And if we didn't get there to check in, we'd lose that. We could lose it. But I just didn't think it'd be a problem. So we enjoyed the last couple of days. Instead of traveling, we just sat around and decided to make it in one easy run. I mean, our coach is a 2007, so it's almost 15 years old. Our car is 2013. It's almost 10 years old. But they both drive and ride just super smooth. Driving 500 miles, sitting in the driver's seat for 10 hours or even more is not a real problem. They're older vehicles, but they ride really smooth. So we just didn't think it'd be a problem. Little did we know. Before we get into that, let me show you this hike we went on with Charles and Abby. It really made all the stress we had on travel day, made it all worthwhile. That was a beautiful day. Let me show you our little hike. Was a good time. So that's what we've been doing. We haven't been worrying about traveling in mountains. We've been drinking jalapeno margaritas. Thanks, Charles and Abby, for turning us on to these little beauties. Eating tri-tips, smoked ribs, and just having a good time. We thought our overheating problem was over. 2 years ago, we were having a lot of trouble with our coach overheating, going on this same route and several other routes. And we had some real issues, but we've done a lot of work. We changed over, put in a wax valve to control the fan on the radiator, working a lot better. We put in a new thermostat, replaced some hoses, changed all the antifreeze and water in it. And there was 2 or 3 more things that we did, I forgot. And it seemed to be doing a whole lot better. But what I did really forget about is we've been driving the mountains in early mornings. And then we headed on out to Medicine Lodge, right across the Bighorn Mountains. We had to go up over a summit, I think was 9,700 feet. And as you know, we've had issues with overheating. So we were very concerned about that. We unhooked the car. Pearl drove the car. She let me drive the motor home. Up and over, piece of cake. We left early. It's only like 50 or 60 degrees outside. No problem at all. It was a great drive. Very seldom have we driven the mountains when it's 80 degrees or more. And that's the big reason why it was going so easy. All last summer we had almost no problems at all. Always in the early morning temperatures. Well, this year it's a little bit different. Once we got on the road and we stopped at Medford and got fuel. And this fueling stop's going to be one of our first check marks. This is the best deal we've ever got with our TSD Logistics fueling card. If you drive a diesel and you don't have one of these cards, you're just missing out. As you can see on the dispenser, we spent $439. The fuel was $5.67 a gallon. We bought 77 gallons. And here's what we had to pay. $316 is what came out of our checking account. $316 for this 77 gallons. That's $409 or 10 cents compared to $567. That's $125 savings and over $1.50 a gallon. That's just amazing. Another thing you notice, we got here at 2:30 Central Time. That's 12:30 Pacific. So we've been driving 4 or 5 hours, and we were noticing that it was heating up a little bit more than it should be. We were going through some mountains, but not anything huge. And we decided to unhook the car because it was warming up. It was probably in the high 80s, low 90s. I said, well, let's go ahead and hook the car and we'll go ahead and drive till we get on the other side of the mountains and then hook back up. And off we went. Pearl's in the car, I'm driving the motor home, and we're only, 50 miles from the California state line. When we got to the California state line, they had a big thermometer up above the canopy, 100 degrees on the road. That's hot. And our coach can't climb mountains at 100 degrees. So we thought, well, we'll still make it. We just slow down, keep our RPMs up, our speed down. We're driving 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour sometimes, but sometimes we're driving 25 or 30 going up a steep grade. I don't know what the high temperature, if it went over $100 that day, but it is in the very high 90s and 100, low hundreds. And we were going slow. So it's right about here. It's getting to be about 5:30, and I'm starting to have doubts. I said, we may not make it. It's going to be, we're still probably 5 hours out of Lake Tahoe. That's going to get us there at 9:30, 10:30, because Tahoe's got a real steep climb too, but it'll be cooler come 9:30. So we wasn't sure what to do. I knew there was going to be a rest stop up the road in the next 30 minutes or so. So we pulled up there and we decided we'd try to call Lake Tahoe office and see and let them know we're going to be late. What was their late night check-in procedures? Would it be okay if we got there in the morning? We just didn't want to lose our reservations. That's the number one driving factor, is not to lose that 21 days of reservations. It's free at Tahoe Valley for our 1,000 Trails membership, and then have to rent a spot, for $40, $50, $60 a night. So we had our fingers crossed. We pulled into the rest area, no cell phone signal at all. So we got in the car, we drove down the road about 20 miles, nothing. So we came back, we talking about it the whole way, and let's go for it. Let's see if we can't make it. Luckily for us, at our rally last January, Jim Bertrand, he polished our headlights. They were gray as gray could be. The last time we drove at night, maybe 3 times we've driven at night to RV. The last time Pearl just stopped. She pulled into a roadside park after about 30 minutes and said, I'm done. Either you drive or let's park it and go to sleep. So real lucky, because you could not see out the front windshield at night with our headlights. Well, Jim polished them up. He spent a couple of days on that. So that was a blessing for us. Thanks so much, Jim, because we're going to put them to good use tonight. So I know it's a home on wheels and we can stop anytime or we can keep going, and we passed a number of places to stop and spend the night. But once again, we had that 21-day reservation that we would lose if we didn't get there tonight. We decided to stop here at Border Town. That's right as you come into Nevada from California, probably 20 miles north of Reno. And we decided to try one more time to call Thousand Trails or get on the internet and see if we could find something about late arrivals, late check-ins, and what happens to your reservation if you don't show up. And I finally found something that said that you had to show up that first day or you'd lose the reservation. So I assume that means the whole 21 days, and they're full. We tried to back up our reservation today and it wouldn't let us make any changes. But it says that you had to be there by 8 o'clock the following morning. So that gave us a little bit of a breathing room. We didn't have to be there till the office opened in the morning. So we got here at Border Town. It's about 8:15, 8:20. It's going to be dark in 20 or 30 minutes. We decided to just park here, spend the night, and then get up at 4 or 5 o'clock and head on up to Lake Tahoe. We need to fuel up and stuff before we go up there, because we're going to be up in Lake Tahoe until probably late October or November. So we're going to be in California. We don't want to buy any fuel up there. We use diesel for our heating our water, heating the coach when we're boondocking. And so we want to have plenty of fuel. And then we'll leave straight from Tahoe heading to Yuma come October, November. So we're here for tonight. Then we take off in the morning and we're going to see what happens, how it does in the cool of the morning.
Lost again, going back around, dreaming of a time when I get things right, lost in the shadows of a million stars.
Alrighty, today's the day of reckoning. We're going to find out today if we still have our 21-day reservation, or are we going to be boondocking somewhere up in the forest up around Lake Tahoe. It's early, it's 5 o'clock. We got a 75-mile road to get to the campground, and it's all 4-lane traffic, and the temperature is right around 60 degrees, and it's going to be cooling down as we're going up that mountain. I think it's supposed to only be like 55 or so up at Tahoe when we get up there. So the stars are all lined up. I think we're going to be okay. Let's see what happens. As you can see, we've got we're starting down here at 4,500 feet at Reno, and we're nice and level going all the way to Carson City. But then we're climbing up to a little over 7,000 feet. And if it was 100 degrees this morning like it was yesterday, we would have a heck of a time. But I think we're going to squeeze through with no problem. First we're going to stop and get gas. I found on Gas Buddy, Maverick gas station up in Truckee has, up in Carson City, has diesel. I forgot what it was, around $4.50 or so. And we've never bought it there, but I think our TSD card, even though they don't have it on their list, I think it'll work, and potentially we could get a discount there as well. Sometimes on those little gas stations, 7-Eleven things, you get a discount, sometimes you don't, and sometimes the TSD card doesn't even work. So we'll find that out here in just a few minutes. First we're going through Reno, then Carson City to get some fuel, and then up the mountain. Still not bad, $4.75. We've been paying, like, I think the highest was $6.50 up in Washington. So $4.75 is pretty good. Hopefully it starts getting better here at the Maverick, just outside of Carson City. And we bought 75 gallons and $355. But we did get a discount with our TSD card. It's $22 or something like that. We paid $333 total. And the fees were like $2.25. They charge 65 cents for each transaction with TSD, and it's 8 or 10% of your savings is what their fee is. So pretty good. $3.33 is what we ended up paying, which made it about $4.46 a gallon. Not too bad. So that's starting the day out good. Let's head up that mountain and see if it gets any better. everything's fine and dandy. They have, for late arrivals, they set out all the reservations on a table right outside the door there at the office. And when you get there, you just pick it up. It's got your campsite and you go park. So we got there at whatever time it was, 7:30. I walked up to the office to see if there was any instructions. There was our reservation. Grabbed my stuff and boom, we pulled right in. Great day, long travel day. I appreciate Pearl's driving a little bit more after having to do some of it myself. But everything worked out great. No problem coming up the hill in the nice cool morning temperatures. So all is well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's kind of a whole lot of just dash cam stuff, but it was a big day for us. We had a great time with our friends and subscribers up in the Pacific Northwest. And now we're looking forward to visiting some friends and family down here in the Reno, Tahoe area for 3 weeks, and then a lot of boondocking. We'll be up here until late October, early November, and so we'll have a couple more videos before we leave, I'm sure. And until we see you guys again next time, keep the wheels rolling, stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit. Bye-bye, folks. And the icing on the cake, we got pretty good Starlink internet here. If it wasn't for that one tree, I wonder if we could have that trimmed down a little bit. Now that is customer service. The folks here at Tahoe Valley have been great, but not quite that great. That was from a couple of years ago. They didn't really cut the tree down.